Hey, I'm just doing a quick camera review on this really cheap Nikon. I've had it for a while, and I saw another review on YouTube and I thought it wasn't the best, so I would make a better one in terms of more information. So, Nikon COOLPIX L105, you're probably only going to find this used now. New as a doorbuster at Target, it was $99. I've seen it on Amazon for as low as about $60 now, so really cheap. Good for really intro. I would say you're gonna grow out of this camera really quick if you actually like photography. If you just need something like around just to take decent pictures that has okay lens and good zoom, then this might be a decent camera for you. So let me start out with the pros of this camera. Alright, first is the price. Like I said, if you find this used, it's only going to be about $60. And it comes with a strap, the cable that you need. Make sure if you do buy it used, you get the cable that comes with it, because it takes a very specific type of USB cable that plugs into here. And you don't really need it. You only need it if you're actually taking photos that go directly into the camera and not onto the SD card. So let's jump onto that. So it takes a standard SD card and 4 batteries. Now that's going to be one of the major downsides to this thing, is that it takes 4 AA batteries. So of course you can get rechargeable batteries and stuff like that, but still it's kind of a pain. It has a standard threading, so you can use it on a tripod if you want to do video or just take better shots with less blurriness. The camera, like I said, it has 15 times zoom, and it has 12.5 megapixels. So you've got a record button right here, your scene button. The record button is for, this red button is for video. The scene button will get you auto mode, sports continuous, smart portrait, and then you have various ones. So you have portrait, landscape, night portrait, party indoor, beach, snow. So that's going to be like highlight, sunset, dusk, dawn, so low light, night landscape, low light. Close up, food, museum, copy, backlight, and panorama assist. So it has some other modes you can get into. You have a timer you can use, so if you want to just throw it on a tripod and take a picture, you can do that. There's a built-in flash. So the flash is, whoa, I'm like totally off here. Where am I? The flash is not that great, of course, because, you know, just a built-in flash on a cheap camera, but it gets the job done for indoor situations. I've actually used it outdoor, and the only reason I will is because sometimes the camera sensor is detecting low light, and it will take the shutter speed down a whole bunch. And even if I don't really think I need the flash, if I put up the flash, it'll boost the shutter speed, so I'll get better freezing rates on fast action like sports or anything like that. So it does have video. It takes 30 frames per second. If you go into here, sorry, it's like has an auto shutdown mode, so it just turned off. But it goes up to 720p HD. If you go into the menu, you can go into your video options, and you have 720p VGA 640 by 480 QVGA. Whoa. Sorry about that. QVGA, and yeah, that's 320 by 240. So, you know, if you have it, use 720p. Why not? It's the highest it has on there. It's not a huge file. Then you have motion detection, sound settings, auto off. You can have various languages on here, because this was basically a dumbed down version of the L110. So, you know, you have tons of languages that you can select on here, so in case you want them. TV settings, video mode, NTSC or PAL. I don't use that very often. I'm mostly using it with my computer in terms of video. Image mode, so you can choose whether you want it to have it at 12 megabytes, or go down to lower settings if you want to just take basic pictures and not have huge files. Continuous mode, you can take 16 multi-shots, continuous files. Now, one of the things about the continuous shots is that it's only going to give you good shots if you have tons of light, because it's taking continuous photos, and it's doing it really in a video mode. It's not like where on like a good DSLR you have like a burst mode where you're taking, you know, 5 to 10 frames per second, and it's actually giving you decent shots. What it's basically doing is it's using like a dumbed down version of the video mode, and it's taking tons of shots really quick. But since it is, there's two things about it. The aperture is going to be really big, so that it's going to be really blurry, and also since you don't have that light, it kind of bumps the ISO up really high. And on this camera, the ISO goes from ISO 800 to 6400, and you can choose that. You can go into these right here, the ISO settings, and it has auto, or you can go up here and do it yourself and choose it. Now, one of the things that, you know, about digital cameras nowadays is that you want to talk about noise and how much noise comes up when you use high ISO, and this has really bad noise. The pictures get really blurry, like once you start getting really high up in here. And I tried using it, the high ISO settings, for a while, but really the photos become unusable. Like my iPhone takes just as good of photos at that point, or if not better. So anything else about this camera? So let's see. I would say, like I said, if you can find it used for about 50 to 60 bucks, it's cool. The only thing I would say is, like, one of the really big downsides is that it takes these batteries, and like I said, you can get rechargeable batteries, and that's cool. But also, it does have a DC input for a power supply. However, I just was doing some research before making this video, and the actual power supply that you can buy for this camera costs $44, and $44 for a camera you can get about for $50. It's completely not worth it. Man, so I would say, yeah, really, if you can get this camera for really cheap, it might be worth it for you. Like I said, you know, this is a kind of old camera, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff out there that's around the same price range that's better now. So, yeah, I don't know really why I'm making this video. I'm basically just saying don't buy it. In this day and age, you can get a lot better digital camera for a lot cheaper. Digital camera technology is moving really, really fast, and something like this, you know, doorbuster type of item got obsolete really fast. Memory contains no images. Okay, yeah, I accidentally turned it on. So how shall I rate this camera? When I first got it, I thought it was pretty cool. You know, I was a real beginner, novice when it came to taking photos. After a year, I started getting more and more cameras, and I still don't have a DSLR, but I got really proficient with using old stuff like this, an AE1, which is a film camera. But once I started learning about aperture and shutter speed and how to actually freeze motion and stuff like that, this camera became really, like, annoying to use. And so currently I'm considering getting either a Nikon D3300 or D3200, because they're, you know, really, really similar, but really good cameras for around 500 bucks that have a lot more to offer, of course, because they're 5 times the price. But yeah, I just wanted to do something with more information than the last video I saw of this thing. So I would say, man, in terms of satisfaction, when I got it, I thought it was cool. I would give it about like a 7 or 8. Now, after knowing a lot about cameras, I mean, for the price, it's decent. I would give it maybe a 6 or a 6.5. But like I said, if you're going to learn a lot about cameras, I would avoid this. It's just better to save your money and to get something better that you're not going to have to upgrade really fast. So I guess that's it. So the Nikon COOLPIX L105. If you got it, make the best of it. If you're thinking about getting a camera, honestly, I would only pay about $50 for this camera, because then you got to buy an SD card, you got to buy batteries for it, so it's just gonna suck money out of you in terms of what else you have to get with it. So that's it. All right, have a good one. Later.